everyone, welcome to my presentation. First of all, let me thank you for coming here today. Let me start by saying just a few words about my own background. My name is Fransiska Kurnia. You can call me Siska. I'm management student in Tidar University and I'm studying in management class 3. My NPN is and my hometown is in Ambarawa, Semarang. I'm here today to present about demand. Okay, today's topic is of particular interest to those of you, an economic student and observer of microeconomics. But the topic in this presentation are actually general topics that everyone can accept. And the purpose aim of the presentation is to understand you the behavior of concern in demand theory. Okay, let's see. We have organized this talk in the following ways and 3 ways. First, we will understand the meaning of demand. Second, about the classification of demand, and third, in the demand curve. Yes, first of all, I like to give you an overview of what is demand. Yes, what is demand in economy? In everyday life, you must have consciously or not made a demand. A simple life example of the theory of demand is when you go to the grocery store and buy bread. Okay, let me make into a sentence. The sentence is you buy 2 bread at the grocery store. You buy 2 bread in the grocery store. Okay, we need to underline the word 2 breads. 2 breads. This means you made a demand for 2 loaves of bread. Next, this also has a complete understanding of demand. Demand is an economic principle referring to a customer desire to purchase goods and service and willingness to pay a price for a specific goods or service. And then kinds of demand. Kind of demand, there are 2. First, demand based on the number of customers, and 2, demand based on ability to buy. And then based on ability to buy is further divided into the 3, namely first, absolute demand, 2, potential demand, 3, effective demand. And based on the number of customers is further divided into the 2, namely individual requests and collective requests. Next, I will focus on absolute demand. What is absolute demand? Absolute demand is demand that is not followed by the ability to buy. Okay, an example in everyday life is example that Budi wants to buy meatballs for 20,000 rupiah, but Budi has no money. Budi has no money means that Budi don't have ability to buy. And then we will focus on potential demand. Potential demand is demand followed by the ability to buy but choose not to buy. An example in everyday life is this potential demand when Budi want to buy meatballs, but he prefer to save his money. Budi prefers to save his money. It means he chooses not to buy. Okay, next we will focus on effective demand. Effective demand is the demand followed by the ability so that customer decide to buy goods. An example in everyday life is when Budi has 20,000 rupiah and he decides to buy meatballs for 20,000 rupiah. Okay, let's see that individual requests. Individual requests are requests that come for one individual person. For example, Santi booked a bag yesterday. Santi booked a bag yesterday. It can be seen that the only person requesting the bag is Santi. Santi is one person. And then we can focus on collective requests. Collective request is a request that comes for a group. For example, when Santi and her classmates are going to buy a bag tomorrow. I repeat that Santi and her classmates are going to buy a bag tomorrow. It can be seen that the ones asking for the bag are Santi and her classmate. Santi and her classmate is plural. Okay, and is a classification factor affecting level of demand. Next, we will focus on customer income level. The level of income is the factor that influences customer demand for goods and services. If customer income increases, people can more buy the goods. And vice versa, if customer income decreases, then people will buy less goods. And second is prices of other items. The next factor is seen from the price of other goods, with the increase in the price of substitute goods. The demand for goods will increase and vice versa. If the price of substitutes decreases, the demand for this good also decreases. And number third is population. The population is also a factor that affects demand, because if the population in an area is large, the level of demand, goods and services also increase. And fourth is intensity of need. The next factor is influenced by the level of community needs. So, the more important goods and services to meet someone's needs, the number of requests will increase. For example, during the rainy season, the demand for umbrella and raincoat increase compared to when it is not the rainy season. And fifth is taste. Increased demand can also be caused by the taste factor, because if there is an increase in appetite for a type of goods or service, the demand will increase for those goods and services compared to other goods and services. And then you need to know when in economics, a demand for a goods will increase if its price fall. provided that its ceteris paribus or other factors that affect demand or then price are considered unchanged. And then this is an application of the demand curve. We can see on the y-axis there is a price of goods, and on the x-axis there is the amount of goods. This curve decreases from the left to the bottom right. As you go down, the quantity demand increases. And next we will see an example of a demand case. At the demand stall, there have been 5 different prices for every noodles sales. In every month, there is a decrease in a price to determine the level of demand from customer. In the first month, we can point A, the price of noodles per bowl is 20,000 rupiahs. And the second month, we can point B, the price of noodles per bowl is 18,000 rupiahs. And in the third month, we can point C, the price of noodles per bowl is 16,000 rupiahs. And the fourth month, we can point D, the price of noodles per bowl is 14,000 rupiahs. And the fifth month, we can point E, the price of noodles per bowl is 12,000 rupiahs. From this table, it can be seen that there is a continuous decrease in the price from point A to point E, while for the quantity request, there is a continuous increase from point A to point E. The law of demand applies here, namely, when the lower the price, the greater the demand for the goods. The lower the price, the greater the demand for the goods. Now, let's look at demand curve. Yes, this is the curve of the case earlier. There are 5 points on the x-axis, and on the y-axis, there are 5 different prices. This curve is demand curve. This curve decreases steadily by a distance of 20%. Yes, this curve decreases steadily by a distance of 20%. And this curve is steadily going down from point A to point E. There is no increase in this curve. Well, this brings me to the end of my presentation. I will briefly summarize the main issues. That in economic problems, customers always have a demand for an item or service. Qualification in the inflows of customers' things is considered to be fixed or called ceteris paribus. The law of demand only pay attention in the price level. The lower the price, the more demand. In my opinion, we should ask customers, we must be wise on making requests for goods. We must apply a priority scale. Unless anyone has anything else to add, I think that is. Thanks for coming, and now I will be happy to answer any question you may have. Thank you for the question. I'm very grateful because the question is very constructive for me, who I'm still in the learning stage. Hopefully the answer to the question I give can be understood and useful for all of us. Thank you.